Welcome to the Bestie Perspective, a raw, unfiltered space where we explore the mind, body, spirit connection. Every week, we dive into personal growth, holistic healing, and life's ups and downs to inspire, support, and remind you you're never alone on this journey. Welcome back to the Bestie Perspective. Today is all about that money, honey.
Ow, ow.
I know the title sounds cute and all until reality can set you back really quick when you're watching the news, your rent goes up again, or you get the bill at the grocery store or restaurant, or you finally have decided to add up all the debt you've racked up on your credit cards. No matter where you are at with your finances, in today's episode, we're getting honest about what it means to rewrite your money mindset so you can feel good about money. We'll break down some of the most common limiting beliefs, share some of our personal money stories, cover how to reframe your mindset, and also how you can use manifestation to transform your money journey. So let's get into it. We felt like this episode was especially important to record right now because so many people are navigating uncertainty, whether it's job loss, mounting debt, or just the anxiety that creeps in from watching the news or scrolling social media. So we're kicking things off by exploring limiting beliefs around money because those beliefs tend to get louder when fear and anxiety enter the chat. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to get really clear on what a limiting belief actually is, especially for anyone who's new to this kind of work. In the coaching world, we use this term a lot. A limiting belief is a thought or a story that you believe to be true, but that actually holds you back from growth, confidence, or alignment. It's the type of mental filter that keeps you playing small, stuck in patterns, or clinging to a sense of safety, even if the belief is outdated or no longer serving you. I mean, when you really start looking at your beliefs and taking inventory, some of this stuff will have you thinking, this doesn't even make sense. And one of the most common limiting beliefs we see around money, there's never enough. If this is you, you might catch yourself thinking or saying things like, I never have enough money. I'm just trying to make ends meet. I'd love to save or invest, but I literally cannot afford to right now. When you start to dig below what those thoughts are saying at face value, you might find that underneath that, you believe that money is limited. You don't trust that more will come and that you'll always be behind. So some of the resulting behaviors you might see it take place in your life if you're having these sorts of thoughts come through is hoarding or clinging to money out of fear of investing or taking financial risks, feeling guilty when spending even on necessities or gift giving, obsessively budgeting or tracking every single penny. Maybe your bank account is the first thing you check every single morning. I don't know what's worse, that or scrolling social media. And I wanted to kick off with this one, not only because it's one of the most common ones we hear about, but this is one that has been deeply personal to me and part of my money story that I've been working through. So I hope that there's at least one person out there that can relate to this, and as well as some of the others that we're going to bring up.
I totally relate. So yes, girl, even on this podcast, you are not alone.
Same.
That was definitely a theme for my parents. And I know we'll get more into childhood and our personal history, but just wanted to make sure you knew, girl, we relate.
Yes, I second that. I think that I've also dealt with that limiting belief in myself, Hannah. And another one that I've definitely struggled with is the idea of I am what I earn. And underneath that, it really comes back to feeling worthy. This belief has shown up in a lot of sneaky ways throughout my life. Even when I know I'm qualified, sometimes overqualified, I still find myself second guessing the value of what I offer. Thoughts like, will somebody actually want to pay me for this? Or am I charging too much for what I'm offering? Creep in all the time. And then there's that fear, what if I lose out on clients because I'm potentially charging too much? What I've come to realize is that these thoughts don't reflect my actual value. They reflect a deeper belief that my worth is tied to how much others are willing to pay me. And when that belief runs the show, it leads to undercharging, over-delivering, and feeling like I constantly have to prove myself in order to deserve more. It's been a process of unlearning that. I'm reminding myself that charging my worth isn't greedy. It's an act of self-trust and respect, that I can both serve people with integrity and allow abundance to flow to me. And that it's safe to want more, not because I'm not grateful, but because I know I'm capable of more and I deserve to be supported in that. And over time, I've really been intentional about shifting out of a scarcity mindset where I was afraid there wouldn't be enough and into an abundance mindset where I trust that there is enough and that the right opportunities, clients, and resources will align when I do honor my value. I'm by no means perfect, and the negative thoughts creep in now and again, but overall, I think I've shifted into a more positive place in relationship with money.
And it's been really beautiful to witness that in you too. And I think this goes for a lot of business owners, but especially service-based business owners.
Mm.
I feel like it can get really murky at the beginning when you're deciding how much to charge because
Yeah.
you want people to feel like they're getting value for their money, but where does that line lie?
Yeah.
What amount?
Yeah.
And even in people who have 9 to 5s, this can be totally relatable to them when they're ready for a raise, when
Right.
they're deserving of a raise. I've seen even the most seasoned workers who've been at the same company for 30 years doubt themselves and doubt their worth at their job, just thinking they're replaceable because they're old. And I'm like, dang, Sheila, do you know how much you got up in those files up there that these youngins don't? Like, give yourself
Yeah.
some credit.
Yeah, for sure. No, even just starting my business, I was definitely underselling myself. When I was needing coaching and I was trying out other people and other services, and compared to what I was getting, I was like, I need to jack up my price here if that's what these people are charging and that's what I got. Like, no. But even with not earning for stay at home mothers and stay at home wives, if I'm not earning anything, does that mean I am not valuable? If it's I
Yeah.
am what I earn, we're talking about pricing our services. What about when you're just offering something, your services stay within the household? Then that can really mess with your mind too.
Yeah. And sometimes when they're not tangible either,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Awesome points. We were just talking about that before the podcast, too. So fun how we brought that in here. And another one that I think of is I can't handle it. One story that I used to tell myself is having more money just means more money, more problems, more pressure, risk, or loss. And I don't trust myself to be able to handle it. I would probably just mess it up anyway. And all of those what if statements came in. What if this happens? What if that? I would find myself avoiding asking for what I needed as far as pay at a job. That happened when I was in nursing. There was a new grad who was getting paid $6 more an hour than me a year after I started.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt really resentful about
Yeah.
that because I was working my booty off and I couldn't believe that she was getting that pay. And it was all hearsay. So I wasn't sure. I didn't confirm with her how much she was making, but I had about 4 people tell me that because they were also in shock.
The audacity.
The audacity, right? And I downplayed myself a lot and said, I'm probably I can't handle more money anyway. Like, what would $6 extra really mean in my life? Like, I'll probably just have to pay more taxes on it. I won't really see the difference. I really sabotaged myself and talked myself out of talking to management about that, or at least opening up the conversation of what would it look like to earn that much, because she's a new grad. Is there anything that she had on her resume that I didn't, that I could earn? But then I had those fears come in of like, oh, well, you're going to have to work harder, or like life is going to get harder and you won't be able to handle the money anyway. You can't handle the work of making that money. It kind of weaves into another belief that I'll tackle in just a minute, but yeah, that was a nasty one.
Yeah, it sounds like that one was a nasty one. And it's, again, you're probably not alone. And I will add to this list by talking about money is stressful. That has been one of my limiting beliefs for sure. This one I relate to a lot even right now, even though it's been one that I've related to for a while. I just the other day told my husband to please not talk to me about money right now. I'm laughing because I'm not kidding, but it's because he's a finance guy, he's a numbers guy, and the way he particularly talks about money always messes with me. It stresses me out.
Especially after a long day of just momming. I can only imagine you're probably looking at him with cross eyes like, please shut up. Not right now.
It stresses me out. So he goes in depth about the value of things and choosing something that's more necessary over another, which is one thing that I hate because I don't like to feel limited. I've worked through so many ideas of that there's only so much, as you were discussing earlier. But he loves to save a nickel. Any deals and sales, he's all over it.
So true.
He has no problem waiting for Black Friday and knows local grocery store sales by heart. He will tell me, oh, guess what? It's half off such and such coming up tomorrow if you want to go this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to think about it that way. We even use multiple credit cards for multiple reasons because each one has different perks. And yes, there are spreadsheets and other things, and all these systems work for him. He loves it. He doesn't find it stressful. While me over here, I want to rip my freaking hair out.
Oh my goodness.
And I grew up always seeing my parents stress about money, so I know this laid a foundation for my conversations with my husband stressing me out. But my relationship with money has definitely improved over the years, and I have a lot of free-flowing beliefs about it that I love. I'm just pulled back into that place in childhood with my parents, with the way my husband talks about money, that it's like, okay, we need a break. His penny pinching ways that he enjoys and his excitement when he finds out how much he saved, it's not what makes me feel magnetic to money. I like the energy of it, the freedom of it, and calling it in through fun ways, unexpected ways, not this organized, structured monstrosity of rules and regulations.
Yeah, Eddie, you can have that.
That's all you, boo. That's all you. I can feel in my wording that I'm sure I'm being dramatic because of how it feels internally. So I'm aware it's a weak point for me, and that's why I asked my husband for a break. But I plan to put that time out to good use and claim something different with new affirmations and catching my thoughts that perpetuate that money is stressful.
Nice. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing what some of those thoughts will be, because I've been having a little bit of that overwhelm come up lately. My husband and I just consolidated some credit card debt into a personal loan to get lower interest rates. But up until that point, I just wanted him to handle everything. It's like, please.
Dang.
I don't.
But see, you should have talk to Eddie, though. He would have figured out something amazing. Like, he's good at that. It's just not my forte. You should have been like, hey, don't talk to me or Eileen about it, but you and Eddie talk about it.
I should have made him. Yeah, no, that's okay. We got a really good rate, which I'm happy about. And it was quite a bit of money, which thinking about it, it is stressful to me. And I think what took some of the fear away, though, was sitting down and doing the hard part of adding everything up, looking at, the different options we have for paying it off, what each of those options would look like in terms of interest paid, and a whole lot of conversations with ChatGPT because I just didn't have the brain power.
Right. ChatGPT.
Before that, I didn't even want to check my accounts or anything. I just wanted him to do everything, and I just didn't want to deal with the stress. I wanted to avoid it all. And I think a very big issue growing up, I witnessed adults arguing over money, breaking up over money, and a very big relationship stressor. I did not want that for me and my husband. So it's been really healing to challenge ourselves in how we talk about money, not only with ourselves, but with each other, and how we handle it. It hasn't always looked pretty, clearly. We're still working through a lot, but yeah, money is stressful when it's huge. On top of that, another one that comes to mind is making money is hard.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hustle for your money. If I'm not working, I'm not earning, which I think is being challenged a little bit in today's world. I think there's a lot of people interested in making passive income, realizing that's even an option.
Yeah.
But even like these young ones coming in and making millions, being influencers and whatnot, and realizing, oh, doesn't have to be hard. That's just a belief.
Yeah.
They're proving it to be incorrect. It is not hard.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you can even have fun while doing it.
There you go.
Yeah. And you don't always have to go to college.
There you go.
There's
All
so
these
many
rules are being
beliefs
they're being broken down.
being challenged. Yeah. And I think too, it was just a very socially ingrained thing that you have to work hard. You have to work hard to make money. Money just doesn't come to you. And I think that's something that so many people hear. And if it's not from their family members, it's from society or from even media we consume, TV shows, movies, showing characters like having to work hard to be successful even. And thinking about all the ways, even subconsciously, that we start picking those things up and ingraining them,
Those damn parents of ours.
I could be an influencer if I want.
I think even back to in school, earning grades.
Oh,
something that kind of overlaps here is the saying like, no one's going to hand you anything. You have to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that, if that doesn't relate to earning money, I don't know what does.
I loved earning that A and A plus. Oh my gosh, I was a straight A student for the longest time, and I was so happy about it. Sadly, my brother wasn't, and so when we were going to the same school, we were 2 years apart, I would have to check with him. I'm like, hey, can I show mom and dad my progress report? He's like, no, I got to work on some things. Leave it alone.
Oh.
I'm like, man, but I got all A's.
Oh my gosh. Hey, but at least you were a considerate sister, man. Asking him, is it okay? Like, you cool with this?
He's like, you better shut up.
Another thing is not allowing yourself to relax because you're so concerned about making money and you're so used to it being hard. If this is a limiting belief you have, underneath, you might feel a deep drive to sacrifice or overwork to be worthy of success. And a lot of this can result in burnout because you're not letting yourself relax. If you're not earning money, it doesn't feel right to you because money's supposed to be hard. Making money is supposed to be hard. And you can even feel guilty for resting or taking time off because you're so concerned with working hard for your money. And there's no wonder that results in burnout. And we sort of touched on that in previous episodes about burnout and from stubble to softness as well.
What popped into my head, I just have to share, is money doesn't grow on trees.
Oh. How could I forget that one?
That is like such a big one for this, right? How many times have we heard money doesn't grow on trees? Well, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, it grows on my tree now because I manifested that it would.
I used to be such a smart ass about it, and I would be like, well, isn't money made of paper? And isn't paper made out of trees? Thank you.
And therefore, money grows on trees. Yes.
Actually, fun fact for our listeners, Lauren has a money tree.
I do.
And her dog bit off a piece of the money tree.
Oh, no.
I can't remember how long ago, when she was just a puppy still. And when that little piece started growing back, the top part was still flourishing. Right, Lauren? But I don't remember exactly what money event had occurred, but there was like one or two leaves that popped out from the little bitten off part. And I think you had one or two money things happen at the same time.
Oh, it's so funny that you remember that too. I love that you even know my plant. Such a good bestie.
I do. Well, she's fostering 2 of my plants, so I kind of gotten to know all of them together because they're so beautiful. And they're in her guest room and they make it feel so homey.
I try. But yeah, that is a good point though. I forgot that she had bitten it off and then I was like, puppy! But it did, out of the chewed off part, it did bloom more leaves.
I wish I could remember what money events occurred, but
me too, because
if you've been thinking about getting a money tree, take this as your sign.
And they're pretty. They are pretty. They look a little bit like marijuana, but they're pretty.
They kind of do, yeah. That's true.
Because it actually...
the type of green that everybody wants. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. I actually received it from my parents, and it was hilarious because, I mean, you guys know my parents. And they used to have it in their house, and I can't tell you how many people used to pause and kind of go like, is that a pot? And then like thinking like my mom, if you know my mom, would be growing pot like, in the kitchen. And she'd be like, no, it's a money tree.
I can hear her reaction now.
Yeah. So I have the money tree now.
That's so cute. And one of the other limiting beliefs I want to talk about before I forget, you reminded me of this one when you were talking about influencers or people younger than us seemingly have it all figured out or way more successful than us. And it can make us feel behind in some way.
Yeah.
Or you can even say to yourself, well, they have it all figured out because their parents pay for everything. I don't know how many times I thought about that in college when I was jealous of people who had their tuition paid for by their parents and all of their cost of living and everything.
Yeah.
And
the jealousy was real.
I was so jealous. I was like, damn, their life must be so easy. They can focus on whatever they want to, because they don't have to work, which frees up so many hours. But there were times I just assumed and I didn't really know because it seemed like they had time for a lot of other things. And the reality was I wasn't sure how they were making their money. I just assumed it was their parents. That belief of like, they have it all, I'm behind, has even showed up here in Dominican Republic. I just told the girls we recently got a car, which we're super pumped about. Feel like we have a little bit of independence back.
Yay!
But living on an island, especially in a different country, is very different when it comes to buying a car. Long story short, the prices are higher because of import fees and other costs, as well as the APR. With the way that the economy is here, I'm assuming, I don't really know, but I'm assuming that it's riskier to lend money because of how the economy is here. The APRs start, if you have good credit, at 20% for car loans.
That's
Damn.
terrible. Wow.
Terrible. And so that only, on top of paying more for a car, on average, even if you were paying cash, you know that like a $50,000 car might cost $70,000 to $80,000 here.
Good grief.
And then when you tack on potentially a 20% APR, you just start doing the math in these little calculators, and it has only made that belief more concrete of like, they must be in debt driving in that car, or how are they even affording something like that? I could never afford that.
Wow.
It feels out of reach.
Mm.
It makes me feel behind in some way. Underneath that, I think it really is saying that wealth is unfairly distributed. If I can't have it, then others must not deserve it either.
Mm.
Because I kind of have like a nasty tone when I think about it in my head.
Sure.
And there's a lot of judging and envy with those thoughts too. The last limiting belief I have to share is that rich people are bad people.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you ever heard someone say, money is the root of all evil?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Rich people just want a lot of power.
Yeah.
They're greedy or selfish.
Mm-hmm.
If I have more, someone else is going to have less. This one kind of struck home to me because I think about this memory I have that's totally innocent. Me and my mom used to love driving past houses that just looked beautiful. We love home design, interior design, all of that. We used to go to houses that were being built just for fun, just to see what the new and in style finishes were. And we used to say all the time, you got to be a certain type of person to make that money. And she would almost kind of make it seem like a bad thing. If you make that much money, you're into no good, or
Gotcha.
you're not earning it the right way, so to say.
It's that drug money.
Right?
Or a trust fund. Not that that's like bad, but
Or
it feels like a judgment put on.
or porn. I'm just kidding. Some of those OnlyFans pages.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So relatable to modern day. So we've spent a good portion talking about limiting beliefs. And this is so important because if we don't stop to examine some of the limiting beliefs that we've absorbed, then that becomes a problem because we end up living them out on autopilot. And this can show up in your day-to-day life as undercharging, say if you own a business like we were talking about, even overspending, avoiding your bank account or credit card statements, or judging people who have what you might secretly want. Your mindset doesn't just affect how you think and talk about money. It shapes how you earn it, how you save it, how you spend it, and how you receive it. And that bleeds into multiple areas of your life. It even affects how you navigate your relationships, your career, and more. So when we talk about limiting beliefs, we're getting curious about what is it that's keeping you from reaching your goals? Because we want you to be successful and we don't want any old programming getting in the way of that. And reflecting on what limiting beliefs you might have definitely opens up the gates of curiosity about where this stuff even comes from in the first place. Specifically for this episode, we want to call out old money patterns we didn't consciously choose because we want you to be successful. Think back on the beliefs that were passed down, modeled, or shaped by your earliest environments. You can reflect on childhood experiences, like how your parents handled money, any money management that was taught in school, as well as any cultural or societal norms that stuck with you, what your family valued, even any trauma or past failure as it relates to money. And any repeated stories from media, school, or authority figures. What comes up for you after talking about the limiting beliefs? Where do you feel like some of them root from?
When I think about my personal history with money, I actually feel a lot of gratitude. That's one of the first things I think about. My parents always made sure we had what we needed and went above and beyond to make holidays, birthdays, and everyday moments feel really special, even if money was tight behind the scenes. Although I sometimes didn't have all the same trendy things my peers did, I never felt like I went without, and I'm so thankful for how they shielded us from stress they might have been carrying. At the same time, there was definitely this quiet message around being careful with money. Like, don't spend too much, be mindful, avoid anything too expensive. So I think I picked up this subtle idea that money is something to be cautious with, potentially hard to hold on to, and can be difficult to come by. It wasn't something that was ever said harshly or blatantly. It was just the energy, the way certain price tags were reacted to, or how we'd sometimes opt for the cheaper option out of habit, even. That mindset also made me uncomfortable for a long time when it came to people spending money on me, whether it was gifts, covering dinner, or investing in me in some way. It brought up this feeling of, am I worth that? Or do I really deserve this? And looking back, I can see how much that was tied to my own self worth. I know I mentioned the self worth piece a little earlier. If I didn't feel totally worthy of something myself, it was hard to receive it from someone else without guilt or discomfort.
Funny how that sneaky thing bleeds everywhere.
I know,
Mhm.
but don't worry, I'm totally cool with hubby buying me food now. And while I was always taught to work hard, I didn't really learn about things like saving, investing, or how to actually grow and manage money. So I've had to figure out that piece a lot on my own in adulthood. And now I've been working on and learning some of those old beliefs and really leaning into a mindset where receiving, spending, and earning money all feel safe, easy, and even enjoyable. Where worth isn't measured by how much I think others are willing to pay for my services, for example, or by any price tag that I may put on them. Really just tapping into the energy of receiving and focusing on having a more abundant mindset. That's kind of been my money journey.
I am low-key jealous of how your parents handled, money with you. That's amazing because I definitely did have blatant statements and or saw arguments where the two of them were arguing over something money related. And so for my parents, their go-to was to tell me, "No, Eiley, we can't buy that. We don't have the money, or we don't have any money." So many times I heard, "We don't have the money right now. We don't have money, or we can't afford it in some way, shape, or form." And so I didn't realize until later on in adulthood that felt like an ingrained belief. I don't have the money. And it took me a little while to realize that doesn't have to be true anymore. In church, I was taught money is the root of all evil. And to help the poor, to give to others before yourself, to put others first, and monetarily even, to where when I did have money, I was very giving and easily forgot about myself. And it's funny, Hannah, you asked if any money management was taught in school, and I was like, hell no, nothing. I
Not a lick.
no, we need that, and starting
Yeah.
younger for sure. If anything, I wasn't taught. I was self-taught. I had to learn money management skills on my own. And, through absorbing or through my surroundings, somehow I learned it. And if anything, in school, I felt a separation between me and the kids who had money. There were always the trendy things that they had and I didn't have. You go home and you tell your parents you want it, even younger, I remember Beanie Babies, for example. Like if I
Yes, I was going to say
Yes.
toys. Now
yes.
that I'm an adult, I see how expensive toys are compared to how many I wanted as a kid. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I remember if I had 3, my neighbor would have like 50. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, who needs that many? But at the same time, that one is so cute. I want it.
Right.
Then it was those jelly pens or milky pens. Oh my gosh, I wanted some milky
Oh,
pens.
snap.
Yes. So I remember these things and wanting what the other kids didn't have and feeling resentment for not having what they had. So all of those things for sure showed up in my young adulthood when I started having money on my own, and I had to learn what I wanted to be with money, how I wanted to use it. And it was definitely, there were growing pains. I'll just put it that way.
I kind of relate to a little bit of both of you guys because I definitely feel grateful for all of the opportunities that my parents provided for me. I never felt like I went without, but in a sense, it was always limited compared to my peers
Yes.
because I went to school in an area that there was a lot of wealthy people, but I came from a very middle class family. It was nothing crazy. And like I said, we never went without, but we definitely didn't splurge on things. And I didn't
Yeah.
get the latest toys and the latest things. I might like later on, but it had to simmer down and I had to be something I really thought about for a long time that I really wanted. And then maybe I'd get it for Christmas or a birthday gift. So, all of these stories really go to say that your financial upbringing really does become your internal financial voice or even your internal financial advisor, so to say. You don't make decisions based on what's possible. You make decisions based on what you believe is possible. So until you update the belief, the behavior stays the same. And that's where reframing comes in. This is the part where we take a step back, get curious, and start rewriting the stories that we've been telling ourselves for so long. Once you've been able to identify your limiting belief, you can ask yourself, okay, what is this belief costing me? And bonus points if you can also name what it's giving you too, because even limiting beliefs have hidden payoffs. And it's usually why they stick around for so long, even if you know it's not really what you want. From there, we can explore new possibilities by asking better questions. And this is how we start to build new beliefs, ones that reflect the life we actually want to create. And when we back those beliefs with action, we begin to feel them as real. So let me walk you through what this has looked like with one of my own limiting beliefs of I have to work hard to make my money. So some of the costs I've noticed with this belief, burnout for sure. You guys know this if you listen to our nursing burnout episode. And this is something that bleeds into other areas of my life too, just making me feel like I've never done enough, period. This can apply to keeping up with the house, cooking, my fitness, just to name a few. And anytime I try to rest, I have to remind myself it's okay and it's necessary, that I don't need to feel guilty. It's getting better, but it is still something that I have to remind myself. And the payoffs, well, I get to feel responsible. I am hardworking. I'm not entitled. And if I've worked hard for it, then I don't have to feel guilty for receiving what I've earned. I get to prove I earned what I have and that I deserve it. But then I started asking different questions. What if ease and value can coexist? What if my energy, creativity, or wisdom is worth more than my sweat? And that can vary person to person, but the point here is asking yourself different questions, just exploring what fits your needs and the life that you want to create for yourself. From reflecting on those questions, this is the new story I'm telling myself. I create value, and value is worthy of compensation even when it feels easy. Money flows to me when I'm in my zone of genius, not just when I'm grinding. And here's how I anchor those beliefs into my daily life with action. Number one, when I receive gifts or payment, I say thank you. That's it. If guilt starts to bubble up, I meet it with curiosity instead of shame. I remind myself it feels good to give to other people, and other people are allowed to enjoy giving to me without needing anything in return. This can even relate to compliments or, like Lauren said, having her dinner paid for her by her husband. Number two, I block off time for rest and play. And it's in those moments that I've started to truly feel abundant. Like rest and joy are part of what magnetizes more good things into my life. And it also gives me the opportunity while I'm slowed down to recognize all of the good things in my life that are already making me feel abundant. The things that I feel really grateful for. And that's my personal process for reframing limiting beliefs. It's not super unique, but I just wanted to make it accessible for people. So I hope that sparks something for at least one person out there.
Something that really stuck out was even if the value you're bringing is easy, you deserve to make money from it.
I loved that one too. That stuck out. That hit me.
I was like, I think I even just needed to hear that tonight, right? Like, even if it's easy, even if the value you bring is easy, it's okay to make that money. And I was thinking it probably means you're actually doing something that's in alignment.
Exactly.
Which is a good thing.
Yes.
It should be easy. It shouldn't be this hard thing. If we're truly doing what we love and it's in alignment with our purpose, it probably does feel easy. And people are probably like, oh, over what we have to offer. And we might be like, oh, I just said that off the cuff or something.
Well, and I even thought to myself, like, when it feels easy, money is flowing to me. And then I was like, wait, no, how about money is always flowing to me? Money is flowing to me in my sleep, when it feels hard, when it feels easy, when I feel sad, how about we just claim it's always flowing our way?
When I'm doing laundry, when I'm wiping Elena's ass, it's always flowing to me.
Right.
So thank you for sharing that, Hannah. That specific one, all good points, but that specific one really stuck out to me.
Was a good one.
Happy to share it. And this is where I want to bring manifestation into the chat, especially since I have you ladies here with me to spill all of your magic. Because for a lot of people, the word manifestation still feels a little too woo-woo. I was talking about that with my aunt, but it's growing on her. But I think especially when it comes to money, I think the assumption is if you are responsible, practical, and successful with your money, then you shouldn't be letting your imagination run the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, yes and no. I could go either way, but there's way more to the story than just that. Manifestation isn't about wishful thinking or living in la la land. It's about tuning into your desires, feeling grounded in your body, and aligning your energy with your intentions while still taking action in the real world. And you can't actually stay in woo-woo land and expect money to rain down from the sky. There's mindset work, there's strategy, there's a whole lot of unpacking and self-trust that goes into calling in more. And this is only the tip of the iceberg, and I'm explaining it from my perspective, but I am so excited to pick the girls' brains today about this because Lauren and Eileen have both had amazing successes with weaving manifestation into their money journey. And today we're going to pull back the curtain just a little bit to share how this can actually work in your real life too. What is the biggest misconception people have about manifestation and money?
This is such a good question. I would have to say what people aren't realizing is that you are currently manifesting your current money situation. I think the biggest misconception is I manifested a win. Like we're only manifesting wins. You're manifesting the losses, the struggles, the uncertainty, the doubts. It's a continuous thing. So whatever your current situation is with money that you don't like, it's power to know that you're manifesting that. And it's actually the answer at the same time. It's showing you are maybe giving more attention to worry, doubt, and fear. So all you have to do is switch around your focus and emanate and imagine. And if you feel it out, however you want to do it, visualize, however, speaking it into existence, if you can just redirect what you're putting out, things shift. So, yes, the biggest misconception is that you are not manifesting what you're currently experiencing.
What I'm understanding there is manifestation is happening all the time, not just when you start intentionally paying attention to it and creating goals, in that you can pay attention to where you're at right now and begin to do a little bit of evaluation of how you've manifested where you're currently at before even moving forward.
Exactly right. Nailed it.
And do you think anyone can manifest money?
For sure. And here's why. If you guys think of any rich person, there are so many different stories out there. You have some that inherited it. You have some that came from poverty-stricken, worst of the worst circumstances. You have women, you have men, you have people from so many different backgrounds, countries. It literally, the evidence is all around us that it doesn't seem to be one specific type of person that can manifest. The only difference is the belief in it, the belief that they can make that money, the determination and persistence. Anyone can do that. Now, can it take a little bit more than others? Yes, of course. It does depend on certain things, but it's possible for anyone.
I think to some it can feel so far away or like magic or not real. And just to hear, yes, it's possible, anyone can do it. We're doing it all the time. In fact, even if you are paying attention or not,
Yeah.
you can manifest.
And that's the beauty of it. I hope that everyone listening to this feels empowered, because if you've been told that your background matters, your past or anything, guess what? It doesn't. Yay. So feel empowered and get your money.
Get your money, honey.
Yes. How has manifestation played a role in the way you make, save, or receive money?
I feel like manifestation shows up most in my life when it comes to saving and receiving money. I jokingly like to call it my free bitch magic, as you
Yes,
both know.
the free bitch magic is the best.
Because it is. Because almost every time I go out, whether it's shopping, dining, or getting a service, I somehow end up with a discount, a freebie, or something unexpected in my favor. My husband even says he loves to bring me along just to tap into the magic too.
It's the least he could do.
It's the least he could do. Insider joke for our listeners. But what's funny is this started before I even knew what manifestation was. It was just this natural belief I had that good things would come to me. And of course, I didn't know this at the time. It's reflecting back later, I was able to see this. But one of the first times it clicked was when Ira and I were dating. he finally took me to one of his favorite go-to restaurants in the city. And that night we got free ice cream and free drinks. And he was absolutely flabbergasted because it had never happened to him before. I mean, he just could not believe it. He was like, I've been here so many times. He's on a first name basis with these people. And then I walk in and they're like, here, have this, have this. And that is when the name Free Bitch Magic was officially born. But even now, it happens constantly. Just this past weekend, for example, we did a little bit of shopping and I ended up getting us around $800 worth of items, clothes, candles, all the things, for under $400.
Wow.
And it wasn't because I was aggressively hunting down deals or anything. They just kind of showed up. And that's how this energy works for me. Even when people aren't handing me money directly, I'm usually still saving it or receiving value in unexpected ways. I've also had moments where money has literally come out of nowhere. Random checks, unexpected refunds, or even family members handing me money and saying, I don't know why, but I feel like I was supposed to give this to you.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. That kind of flow feels like a direct result of how I've shifted my mindset, being open, trusting, and believing that I'm supported. So that's been some of my fun.
Something's working. Whatever you're doing, girl, you keep it up.
Free
Yes.
bitch magic, baby.
Okay, I have a good one. This was definitely within the last year. I believe it was last year. Per my husband's suggestion, he asked me if I would consider opening a Fidelity account. And the reason
I love this one.
And the reason being, he said it may be good for you to see all your money in one place. And in opening that account, you can see all of your other accounts. And I initially thought like, I don't know that that's really going to help, but fine, I'll do it. He's the finance guy. Sure, fine, whatever. So I go in and I try, and then there's a block with something that they're needing, identification on, So we called one day, like this was multiple attempts here, and there was always some sort of block to where I emailed them a digital signature and that wasn't good enough. They needed a real life signature. So then I took a picture of me signing it with a pen, being a jerk in the photograph. Like, do you see Fidelity? I'm signing it. Like, before we scanned it in, I also emailed them that photo, I swear to God.
This is when Spicy Island
Yes,
comes out.
after the fourth or how many tries, I was starting to get a little heated. So I get an email after that saying something was wrong with it, or they didn't receive it or something. I lost it. I don't even know exactly what that email was, but I remember I was angry crying. I remember Eddie was late to work that morning even because he was like, all right, let me help my wife with this Fidelity account setup. This was my suggestion. So I'm on the phone with the person telling them, I'm trying to set this up with you guys. Someone needs to help me. This is ridiculous. And they said at one point on the phone, like, do you already have an account with us? And I was like, no, not that I know of. And they said, well, have you been employed at this place? Yes. Have you been employed at this place? Yes. Okay. They're like, something's going on here. They finally get me logged in and set up after clarifying certain questions. They have me on the computer with them while they're on the phone. And so I see my new account set up there, but I see an amount, and I don't mind sharing. It was $19,900 or in the high $19,800 something dollars. And I said, did you guys already connect my outside account? He said, no, ma'am, this is from your previous employer at such and such. They opened, there was an employee account set up there. And I was like, oh my gosh, why I was confused is because my other account that I'm trying to connect to Fidelity anyway had less than $100 close to that amount. So I have this other account that I didn't know I had from a previous employer. The universe literally doubled my money within $100, and I never knew about it. Now, people can say, oh, well, that's just because you didn't, speak to your employer correctly, or, oh, you should have known about that account. But whatever, we manifest everything, and it can come in a natural way or feel as if, oh, that's not magic. Money doesn't have to fall from the sky or be in some random briefcase you find in the subway or something like that. No, it can feel like, oh, this was supposed to be for me. I should have had access to this. Oh, okay. So yeah, that was awesome. To almost $20,000 extra that I didn't know about. That was a great manifestation.
Okay, universe.
Freaking amazing.
I love that. And it wasn't something that you had a clear intention or goal of I'm going to make this amount and I'm going to manifest it. And look at how you did that. It was completely unexpected when you got the account. You had no idea about that money. And you did it through flaming tears. You were so
through
angry,
the fumes
sad.
and the fire. Yes, that's the beauty of realizing that toxic positivity doesn't work. It's who you're being, who you're identifying as. And I was frustrated. But you know what I was affirming on that phone call? I always get what I want. I always get what I want. I always get what I want. So I could be mad and still manifest because I was really in that identity of this fidelity account is getting set up if it's the last thing that I do here.
Yeah, right.
But in holding strong to what you know, and in the other things that I was manifesting, or in the other things that I was affirming the week or two before, I was saying things work out for me and that I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be happy to do it. And that's exactly what I got.
Yes, ma'am. I know that's right. Do you feel like limiting beliefs cancel out your ability to manifest?
So I believe that limiting beliefs can be manifested, or your fears can be manifested, your worries can be manifested.
Yeah.
So then in a sense, that could be, yes, canceling out what you actually want. Because if you can't identify with two things at the same time. So I always tell clients, 51% of the time, if you can think about that, if you can worry or decrease that limiting belief to 49% of the time and push towards the more expansive beliefs, the manifestation outcome going your way to that 51%, then you can have that manifestation.
Thanks for expanding on that point, Eileen. I think that was a really important one to touch on since we talked about so many limiting beliefs at the beginning of the podcast. And another question I want to touch on, what's something that you've manifested recently, either big or small?
Okay, so this one still blows my mind a little. Now, it's not quite $20,000, but money is money and we're still going to be happy about it, right? I recently manifested a retirement check for almost $1,000.
Whoop, whoop.
And whoop, whoop. And it was actually from an account I had already completely closed. I had sat down a couple years ago, super meticulously went through every single retirement account under my name, cashed them out, closed them all. The whole thing was done. Or so I thought. Fast forward almost 2 years later, a completely unexpected check shows up in the mail from one of those accounts saying I still had nearly $1,000 in there. And what's even wilder is that it arrived right around the time when we really needed that extra cushion. It was one of those moments where I just had to laugh because I truly believe when you stay open, stay trusting, and let go of how it's going to show up, the universe really finds a way, even if it means digging up a supposedly canceled account from the financial graveyard. If you keep yourself open and let go of how it's going to show up, the universe will find a way. And it's usually surprising, I've found.
I love that story. How important is clarity when you're manifesting something? Like, do you have to know the how or step by step? What does that look like?
I think that clarity can be a beautiful thing when you're manifesting, but only if it feels good and expansive. If trying to get super specific about an outcome starts to stress you out or makes you feel stuck because you're not totally sure what you want yet, that pressure can actually become a block. So if that's where you're at, try focusing instead on the feeling that you want to experience or the feeling that you want in the outcome. Tap into the energy of it, whether it's freedom or peace, excitement, stability, and let that guide the clarity piece. Sometimes the what becomes clear after you tune into how you want to feel. But if not, still putting your focus toward how you want to feel will still help you manifest that outcome. And when it comes to the how, I've learned that the part you really don't need to know, kind of in my other examples already that was a little proven. The truth is things rarely unfold the exact way we imagine already. And I've seen in my own life how easy it is to accidentally block the very thing I want by being too rigid about how it's supposed to happen. When we get tunnel vision on the timeline or the method, we can actually shut down all of that magic because we're so focused on controlling the outcome that we're not open to the unexpected ways it can show up. But when I let go of the how and stay rooted in the belief that everything works out for me, for example, I start to notice more synchronicities, more ease, and more of what I want showing up, just not in the way I would have predicted. And I've really learned to embrace the unknown through this and even get excited about the surprises and spontaneous magic that comes from trusting the process.
Yes. I was going to say, let go of that how, girl. Let it go. Leave it at the door. Put it in the trash.
Let it go. Let it go.
You don't need that how. That is not our job.
Oh, it's so freeing too. Just know it's like a weight that can be taken off your shoulders when you let go of the how. You can breathe and just say, I'm excited to see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited to see how it's going to play out.
That is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to manifesting. I'm sure there's going to be someone out there that relates to me, but it is one of my biggest blocks is wanting to know. I just want to know.
That sage.
How is that going to work?
It's that sage.
Yes! But how?
Yeah.
Is the question I always ask. And it's pretty comical. You can even ask a coach that I worked with for about 1.5 years. Bless her soul. She was so patient with me. And I always am like, but how? But what does it look like? But I need to see the step by step, the facts. It's just so different from setting a SMART goal with measured outcomes and everything. Can honestly make you completely blind to the ways that life and the universe is trying to show you, yes, this is coming your way. I want to make $100 and I'm going to do it by working this job, this many days a week at this amount per hour. But every day on the way into work, you're finding a quarter on the floor all of a sudden after you've made this goal. But you just leave it there and walk by and don't even think the universe is sending me money.
Right.
The universe is literally cheering me on.
Yeah, what you're saying, it's important to note that you should celebrate any and all wins, big or small.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. I've gotten jazzed about $25 or less. I'm excited. If it's money, it's money.
Can manifestation still work when, say, you're in survival mode or feeling a lot of scarcity around money?
For sure. Like we've said in different ways, it's always working. So if you are in survival mode and scarcity, and that's got you into a very fearful place, then you're going to manifest the fears. You're going to manifest the negative outcomes. You're going to manifest losing the money. And sometimes this comes about even more so when there's deadlines. If an eviction is around the corner, even anything like that, where, okay, I need money for rent, I need money to survive. There's been so many people that have been able to persist and continue to say, whatever it is, I'm so grateful that I got the $2,000 I needed for rent, or whatever it is, that it's here, it's mine now. I already have it, and tap into already having it. Things like that, to where it does come about. So I think in that survival mode, in that time of what feels like scarcity, you have to stay strong and power through and fight those thoughts that often come from being in that space. I want to give a little trick that you can do to our listeners. When you wake up in the morning, close your eyes and imagine a scene with money that lights you up. Maybe it's seeing your account with a large amount in it. Maybe it's receiving a check, an expensive gift, or winning a lottery or sweepstake. Then go about your day as if it happened. If that scene was real, how would you be at the grocery store, in traffic, in conversations with your friends, family, and coworkers? If you do this for real, you'll find you won't stress as much. You treat people differently. You're less triggered, and overall in a better mood. I think we need to remember that money is an energy. Ask yourself what you think money is, and are you embodying that? For me, money means fun, freedom, power. You can help people, feed people. So money also means capability, influence, possibility. Are you connecting to the essence of these? Some of them, any of them? Be honest with yourself. Maybe none of them. And that's okay. But if that's the case, now you know why money is what it is in your life. You can now claim a new story and a new connection with the idea of having money.
That is an amazing practice. And you threw out some major bombs there. One that I was going to bring up, if y'all didn't, was yes, viewing money as energy was a complete game changer for me.
Yeah.
It's a form of energy exchange. Somebody worked for that money, or they used their creativity to create that money, or they provided a service. And you can also receive that energy back in the form of, yes, cash or resources or opportunities, like we touched on Lauren in her free bitch magic.
Yeah, baby.
I think allowing it to flow as an energy and viewing it as an energy really, really changed a lot.
To go into maybe a little reflection or thought that I would like to leave the listeners with is that your self-worth is not measured by your bank account. Money is just a tool. It's not a reflection of who we are, what you deserve, or what you're capable of. We all come into adulthood carrying beliefs about money that weren't ours to begin with. And it does take time and compassion to untangle those. So if you're in a season where money feels stressful or scarce, I just want to say you're not behind, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. There's so much power in simply becoming aware of your patterns and giving yourself grace as you shift them. And when it comes to abundance, I just want to remind everyone it's not just about money. It's about all the ways we feel supported, nourished, and fulfilled. It's the deep conversation, the roof over our heads, the meals we enjoy, the people who love us, the creative energy we have, the beauty we notice in everyday moments. And when we start to recognize and tap into that kind of abundance, the kind that already exists all around us and within us, it actually opens the door for more financial abundance to flow in too. because we're no longer chasing it from a place of lack. We're receiving it from a place of trust. So that is my mic drop nugget I would like to leave everyone with.
More of that, yes, please. Looking for the abundance in your everyday, the little moments of magic. Doesn't get more beautiful than that. You don't have to have it all figured out. You can be a millionaire or just trying to make rent. No matter where you're at, you deserve to feel safe, empowered, and respected in your relationship with your money, honey. So thanks for hanging out with us today. And if you felt called out during this episode, check out the description for our contact info and let us know. We'd love to hear what resonated and keep the conversation going. Next week, we're getting into something even juicier: relationships.
Ooh.
We're going to cover the messy, modern dynamics that make us question everything in our episode, Relationship Routing. It's not you, it's Wi-Fi. We're peeling back the layers of why love feels harder than ever in a world of nonstop scrolling, disappearing attention spans, and dating advice from, yes, even TikTok therapists. So, whether you're single, cuffed, or emotionally entangled with someone who just doesn't believe in labels, you'll want to be here. So, we'll see you next Wednesday, Bestie. It's going to be a ride. And so, until then, keep growing, keep glowing, and always trust in your own bestie perspective.